here's what we're going to do today. This white stuff is snow, this brown stuff is a carpet, and the red stuff is dirt. And if we run around, we've got our footsteps that change. We go to our grey that has nothing in, go to the red, we've got dirt with effects and sound effects, and then different sound effects. And it's all depending on feet as well, so that's why we've got our traces coming from our feet, so you can have different sound effects based on where your feet are. So you could have 1 foot on snow, 1 foot on grass, and it'd sound different. Also, we're able to use the same thing for attacks. So if someone's blocking something, you hit a shield, then we're able to use the exact same code for that as well. So that's dirt on a shield for when you're blocking or parrying, and then this one is snow on a wall as well. And we'll set all this up, and it'll be super easy and super fun. So any questions, any issues, let me know, give me a shout. I appreciate you. In your content drawer, we're just going to right click and create a new folder. And this will be our footstep system. And then we'll double click to open it up, right click again, and we're going to make a blueprint function library. Blueprint function library footsteps. And a blueprint function library is a global library that we can call from multiple actors. So we can call this from anywhere. We can call it from the enemy. We can call it from our character. And what we're going to do in here is we're going to create 4 functions. And the first one's going to be find ground. And in find ground, we're going to have some inputs. So things that we'll use inside the function. We're going to add 3 inputs. The first one will be a vector, and this will be the start location. And the second one will be a boolean, and this will be whether it's the left foot. And then the third one will be a actor, and this will be the spawning actor, or the owner, or whatever you want to call it. From start, we're going to get a line trace by channel, and we're going to change the draw devoid type for full duration for the time being. And then from start again, we're going to subtract 100. And what we're going to do is we're going to feed in the foot location of whoever is calling this function, subtract 100 to it, and find the ground. And on the ground, once we checked if we hit something, so return value, pull off, press B, get branch. Once we checked we're going to hit something, we're going to pull out hit, and we're going to get this break hit result. And then from physical materials, because this is where all our surface types are, we're going to type in surface type. And then we need to make a new function. So we're going to click add, and this will make the play footstep sound function. And that needs 2 inputs. So that first needs the surface type, which I've spelled wrong. So E physical surface, which will be the surface type stood on. And then it needs a location. So this will be a vector, and this will be the location to play sound effects, SFX. And then from the execution pin, we're going to get play sound application. And then from sound, we can get select. And from the index, we can get the surface type to be stood on. And then from location, we can get location to play SFX. So in find ground, we're going to pull out play footstep sound, and we're going to pass in surface type to the surface type to stand on, and the impact point of our line trace to location to play SFX. We're going to pass in true. Okay. Now we're going to do a line trace. We're going to get the location of the bone. We're going to minus 100 from that to find the floor. We're going to check that we hit something with this branch. If we do hit something, we're going to get the surface type that we stood on and play the sound effect location. we're going to select play footstep sounds and Control D, and this will become play effect at location. And instead of play sound at location, we're going to delete that. We're going to do play system. It's not going to be play system, it's spawn system at location. Location to play SFX will go into location, and system template will go into the select. And then we're going to select play effect at location and duplicate it. And this will be spawn decal at location. And again, we're going to delete spawn system and then right click and get spawn decal at location node. Pass in the location to play SFX, and the decal material goes to the select. And then we need those two other variables that we had. So we want to add two more to the input for the spawn decal at location. And we want the left foot. And we want the owner, so an actor. Okay. And just change the names here. And then from this select, we want to get another select. And the wildcard at the bottom will be left foot. Because we're going to spawn a decal that's different. We're going to spawn the left foot decal and the right foot decal. Okay. You may want to add in, like, if it's humanoid or not, and then do another select and check if it's humanoid. I'm going to assume that all of these will be humanoid, so that's not overly complicated. Decal size, we're going to change that to 10, 10, and 10. We're going to change that to 1 lifespan. And then rotation, I want to get the owner and get actor rotation and plug and right click and split the pins. And then in spawn decal location, we're going to right click and split them as well. We're going to put the X in and the Z in, and we're going to leave the pitch at 90. And this will mean that the footprints that we spawn are actually where we're looking, rather than like spawning a footprint and it being off to the side. In fine ground, we're going to drag out play effect at location and drag out spawn decal at location. And surface type goes to surface type, impact point goes to location. That's for both of them. And then left foot and owner, we can drag out and type in left foot. We can get left foot. We can type out and get owner. What have I called it? Get spawning actor. And this is our function library done. And now if we wanted to use that in a different project, we could right click and take all of this across, and we can reuse this for lots of different things. So the play effect at location we'll reuse in a moment. Next, we're going to come to our content drawer. We're going to right click, go to blueprint class and get an anim notify. We want the top one, the parent class. This will be an footstep. And this is just something that gets called inside our animation. We'll show you that in a moment. We're going to open up the footstep and come to the functions and get receive notify. We'll right click and type in find ground. Then you can see that it links to our BPFL footsteps, but there's nothing here that stops us calling this wherever we are. So we're going to plug that into our nodes, and then from mesh component, we're going to get socket location and plug that into start. And from mesh component again, we're going to get owner and plug that into spawning actor. And then for in socket name, we're going to drag this out and select promote to variable. Just be careful because they've switched the values around here. So promote to variable is the second one. We don't want it to be a local, we need it to be a normal variable. And this will be the socket name. Now we could just hard code this to be left foot or right foot, but if you've got custom skeletons, then you want to be able to change this and write it. Select the variable, select instance editable, and select expose on spawn so that we can edit it inside the animations, which we'll do in a sec. And then left foot, again, promote to variable, and come over to details, instance editable, and expose on spawn. Okay, so now we're going to go to characters, mannequins, animations, Quinn, run forward. And you can see here that we have marked automatically the feet that are hitting the ground. So we're going to insert a new track, insert notify track, and then we're going to right click, add notify, and get the animation montage notify, animation notify that we built already. So and footstep. And for the Quinn skeleton, the right foot is foot_r. And you can see here that we've not actually made the left foot variable. We've not compiled so that it shows up. There we go. So now we're compiling, it's all here. So if we control C that and control V it, there. So if we control C that and then move to where the next right foot is and control V it, it'll paste it where we need it. And you can see that it's doing it because it makes this little mark on the screen. That's from the right foot. And then we'll go to the next right foot and do the same thing. And then we'll come back to the first left foot and do the same thing. So that there's one there, except we're going to now change this to foot L and select left foot. And then we're going to control C that, move our marker across, control V, and move it right to the end, control V again. There we go. So now we should see, there we go, our markers all appear, but we're not doing anything just yet. So back in our project, we're going to come up to edit and we're going to go to project settings, and we're going to come down here to, what is it, physics, which makes no sense. And we're going to see these physical materials, and we're going to type in some physical materials. So we're going to get snow, and we're going to get dirt, and we're going to get carpet. And then we're going to close those, click save. And inside our footstep system, we're going to make a new folder, and we'll call this phys mats. And we can right click inside that new folder, type in PHY and get this physical material. Select physical material, and this will be PHY snow. Open that up, and we got all these options, but the one that we want is this surface type. Make sure it's selected as snow. So you can change all the friction. So if you had ice, then you would change the friction to be slippery and not moving, and you change the density and the power and all sorts. There's loads of functions in here. We're going to select Fizz Snow, Control D to duplicate that, and this will be our dirt. Open that up, change the surface type to dirt, save it again, and then one last one, Control D, and this will be carpet. Open that up, drop it down to carpet, save it, and that's that bit done. So now if we go back to our BPFL, inside play footstep sounds, we can select the select, right click it, and refresh node. You can see now that we all have our physical materials, but we don't have any sounds yet. So we can go to Fab, and we can type in footstep, and we can drop the price down to 3 because we ain't paying for 9. And we've got these footstep mini sounds that we can use. So we're going to add those to the project. I'll leave a link to make it easier for you. And the next one is Niagara footstep VFX. I'm going to add those to the project as well. So back in our project, just while that's downloading, we can then create a new folder for meta sounds, open that up, right click, type in meta at the search bar at the top, and we can make meta sound source. And this will be MS Snow. We're going to open that up, and we're going to get a mono wave player. And then on play, we're going to select, we're going to get a random get wave asset array. And we're going to put that into play, put the value into wave asset, and put on play into unfinished. No, unfinished into unfinished, does that make sense? And out mono into the output. Our array, we're just going to come off here and promote to a variable. And then inside our variable, we're going to add a bunch here, and we're going to type in snow. We want to select all our snow steps. So all the snow steps. And put them in here. And then we're going to, on the pitch shift, we're just going to random float that and connect on next. So, and all the resets. The stop. And then the minimum we want is -1, and the maximum we want is 1. And then we can test all that. And that all seems to work as we want it. Beautiful. So we'll save that. Just going to do snow, and you can do the rest. Right, back in our footsteps, we have play footstep sound. We can choose the MS Snow. So now it plays our snow sound. And then we're going to go through play factor location, get the select and refresh it. And we can type in snow, and we can get snow light surface. And then spawn decal at location. So again, we can right click and refresh these nodes. And the snow footsteps are a little bit weird because there isn't anyone that has any for free unless you had quixel before. So if you had quixel before, then you can get the snow footprints. So I'm going to add these snow footprints. Unfortunately, these are paid for now, but it's worth just knowing how to add them. So then back in BPFL, I'm going to duplicate this select for the left foot and put that into snow. And then I'm going to get the snow footprint. I don't know if it's to the left or right. And this MI snow as well. And now, if we come to our floor here, go to details, and all the way down to physical material override, we can get snow. And now, when we walk on it, we've got our snow footprint, playing our snow sound with our snow system. And when we move over to this that isn't snow, we don't have any effects or sounds or footprints. Okay, now our footprints are a little bit small, so we can come into our decal range and change the Y to be about 20. That makes them a bit too thick, so we can change the X to be 20 instead. There we go, that makes them look a bit better. And then we've got a nice little dynamic footstep system. So, as I say, I haven't got any footsteps for any footstep decals or anything else, but if I come to the effects, then we can get dirt. And we can do carpet. I think this is called linoleum. No, there isn't a carpet effect. General one surface. And then in play footstep sounds, we can do dirt, and you can use like a sound cue, or you can make your own meta sound, whichever is easiest. And again, we've got linoleum here. Then if I change some of these things that are in the level, just make this a bit wider, go to details, go to physical override, make this a carpet, and we can make this top block here dirt, and then we'll play. So we've got snow all around. Then we've got what do I make this carpet? No sound on these, and then dirt on this top one. So the other thing that we can do, which is cool now this is set up, is if we go into our third person, into our character, and we get an input, so we get 1. And from here, we do a line trace by channel, and we can get the actor location. So we can get the actor rotation and get forward vector. And from actor location, we can get a plus, and from forward vector, we can get a multiply. Feed the multiply into the plus and the plus into the end. Right click on the multiply to get a float. And we'll just say that that's 100 in front of us. Now on return value, again, we press a V to make sure that we hit something. On out hit, we can break the hit result. And then we can get our physical material, get surface type. And we can call spawn the effect code that we've written already. There we go. Play effect at location. Get our surface type. Get our impact point. And now, if I change this wall here to be snow, then I press 1. Got a snow effect hitting that wall. So what you can do is override any sort of physical material that you have. If we go to fab and we can get a shield, find a new shield then, medieval shield, and add to project. So we'll come back to fab. So we've got our shield here, nice and big. Come to the details of our shield. Our physical material override is dirt. Right click, play from here, and then now when I hit it, it's dirt. So I'm swinging my sword and I'm getting a VFX, and we're just reusing code that we've already got. So super modular, super usable in lots of different things. What I would suggest is if you maybe want different effects rather than your footstep effects, you just create a new function library and call that like BPFL, like hit effects or whatever, and then you can call it from there. And the beauty here is that we can then call this from enemies, we can call this from anywhere really.